Estás escuchando Radio Primavera Sound, proudly presented by Cupra.
And we are back live from Radio Primavera Sound here at the Park del Fòrum on the second day of the Primavera Sound Festival 2025, and we have Wolf Alice in the house.
Hey.
Hello. Hola. Hola, everyone outside. Play Freezy.
How's your Spanish, Ellie? You've been here. You've all been here in Spain many times.
Yeah, hablo un poquito.
Sí.
Sí.
Sí. No. What about any Spanish lyric in the because on the new album?
Oh,
a phrase or something?
Oh. I would love to re-record in Spanish. I would absolutely adore that. Yeah. I mean, I'm saying that someone's going to ask me to do it, and I'm going to just do it, and I shouldn't speak so soon. But I do love it when people re-record their songs in different languages. It's
like
cool.
Julio Iglesias used to do. He did it in every language, in German, Japanese. He'd learn it phonetically.
So cool, yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to go with the Beatles, but you're always with Julio Iglesias.
Did
the Beatles do that?
Yeah, German. They got German singles. Come give me a dine a hand.
Even in Tagalog, which
sounds
is
beautiful.
Yeah. That's why he was so massively popular, internationally.
They played in Hamburg for it, yeah.
Yeah, very strategic. But anyway, enough about Julio Iglesias.
No, more about Julio Iglesias.
Ellie,
don't. He really will speak
Spanish album. That we're definitely going to hold our breath for that.
Yeah.
How does it feel to be playing Primavera for the first time? Right? It's your
yes.
Your first. You've been in Spain many times, but this is your first Primavera.
We honestly are so excited to be at Primavera. Like, it's a bit of a bucket list festival for us. Yeah.
We didn't think we were cool enough. Like, genuinely, we were like, every time it came out, we're like, damn, didn't get a Primavera. So this time it's like, it's really genuinely something that we always wanted to do.
When did the call come through? Because you were announced like
when Claro pulled out.
That's what it takes.
No, but like we're
still hasn't. So we're not that cool.
You're not that cool.
They're called by proxy. We are. But,
no,
cool.
I tell you, people were like, I obviously been looking on the internet, which I shouldn't do, but like people were very unhappy Claro pulled out, and then loads of people were like, well, that's great. And they're very happy.
Like the office roared when all of a sudden the official Instagram of Primavera Sound, Wolf Alice is playing this year and stuff, and there was just this eruption, like wow, as if like the Barcelona had scored a goal, kind of thing. It was that crazy. Plus, you're coming. It was announced on the same day, I think, that you announced your new album, which is coming out at the end of August, The Clearing. So we'd like to know stuff about that because not much has been said. What Wolf Alice are we getting with this new album? We know that there's been an evolution in you, Ellie.
Has there?
Well, you published a statement saying that you decided to drop the guitar because you wanted to focus more on being more of a front woman, which you already were, but you wanted to focus on the performance style. What do you mean exactly by that?
Well, part of me wonders if it was just an elaborate way of saying finding it hard to focus on two things at once. I want to just focus on singing a bit more. I find the guitar hard, but it's nice. It's nice to put it down, and I'm free. I don't have no more leads to tangle myself up in, and I can go and stomp around the stage a bit more. And but I still playing the guitar on some things. Yeah.
I imagine you do. Because you name dropped Axl Rose in that statement, and it is true that on the first single there is you are reaching. You've always reached the high pitches, but it is that sort of classic sort of 80s hair metal kind of vocal delivery, I guess.
Yeah.
Is that gonna be prevalent on the new album?
I think it's most prevalent on Bloom Baby Bloom. Yeah, I was kind of interested in how, because for me falsetto is what I associate with being like delicate and soft, and I like how someone like Axl Rose, he sings in falsetto, but it's very like powerful and fun and synonymous with like rock music. So that's kind of why I was thinking about him a little bit.
Is it a very ambitious new album? It seems like you've got a lot of ambition.
People have said that a little bit to us the last couple of days. I think Wolf Alice in our own way have always been ambitious, not in like a super arrogant way, but we really care about what we do. We don't take it like for granted the opportunity of making a record. We love making records. We love making albums. This is my favorite Wolf Alice album that we've ever made. So I'm I'm ambitious in the sense of I'm very excited for as many people to hear it as possible.
Not calculated though, eh?
No, exactly. I think sometimes you can get a bit tense if people suggest that you are ambitious, so that's the impression you're giving. But really, I'd just love it to have as far a reach as possible because I'm so proud of it.
Somebody in an interview, and I'm afraid I didn't note down who it was, said English bands are so hesitant to ever admit ambition, but I am ambitious with this record.
I said that actually.
There we go.
So scratch what I said 10 seconds ago and fill in that. No, I don't know. It's like, it's kind of like a thing. I always remember growing up, like it wasn't commonplace to find, it wasn't like attractive to like read in like, when I used to read the NME and stuff, if bands ever kind of gave that impression, it was quite quick to be taken down from them.
Yeah.
So you don't want to always do that because you want to like fear the wrath of the press or whatever for having ambition. But I don't think it should be necessarily a dirty word. Yeah.
Especially in, you are essentially a rock band, and rock has always been about being bombastic, if you want, and in a funny and playful way, and it's always been part of the thing. Like Guns N' Roses, they were heavily ambitious, and we loved them for that. We didn't want them to sort of no play it down. Anyway,
another thing about the album, apparently this is something I would like as someone who's slightly older. It's a meditation on the first stage of the aging process, right? The new album.
Whoa, I've never heard that sentence.
Yeah.
I did not say that bit.
We definitely didn't come up with that. No, I think it's like, I don't know, like maybe aging is the wrong word, just life in general, really. And I think, we have like, it's not I think a lot of our previous albums, maybe, or the first two, like deals with it it's got a coming of age vibe about it, whereas this is more like come of age.
Yeah, the aging thing is funny.
Yeah.
It's almost just like a reflection on time passing. I think aging has a different connotation when I think of it.
Yeah.
It's kind of how you feel in relation to time passing and what events happen as time passes and how you change. And yeah, I don't know. I suppose that does also mean aging, time passing. So I'm just trying to give it a better spin so we don't sound 57,000 years old.
but there is a difference because you're now in your 30s.
Yeah.
You're on the so now you are proper adults. When you're 20, you can still get away with a lot of stuff. And obviously you found success in your 20s, and you're at that perfect age when you're allowed to indulge in the rock and roll lifestyle. But I imagine now you start to have the adult preoccupations, and responsibilities and stuff. I don't know if that's the case. How is that? How do you think that's affected the songwriting?
That's a good question.
Really
That's
good
interesting.
question.
Like, are you aware that you're in a transform?
I'm probably not answering that question that specifically, but I did notice that when we toured Blue Weekend in specific, songs like Delicious Things and The Last Man on Earth, which have a slightly less... Teenage feels like I'm relegating those songs to not being worth anything, but like we had this less onus on kind of that angsty heavy stuff, and seeing the energy that came back from songs like The Last Man on Earth or Delicious Things, which are much more songs, and that kind of, I don't know, I suppose in my head seems a little bit more adult, and we really chased that sentiment a little bit when we were writing the songs for this new one, and to see if we could have like an incredible moment without just using distortion pedals and things that maybe we had done through our early 20s. So that I've noticed, and it kind of feels like a product of maybe not necessarily aging, but having done this quite regularly and wanting to explore new things. And that was really exciting. The writing process and the kind of like playing the songs together was so exciting this time because it felt new. It feels kind of, this whole process right now is feeling really fresh and new to us.
Well, I mean, the music industry is obviously not as rich as it used to be in the past, where labels could afford to send Happy Mondays to Jamaica.
That story is crazy.
And it's like, just whatever, just bring an album out.
Yeah, that didn't end up well.
That didn't end up well.
Didn't they sell the studio?
They sold the studio furniture to buy crack. So
And didn't they ransom the lead vocal or something like that so they could
to get more money, to get more advance.
Legendary.
Shit, we should have done that.
But still, because Wolf Alice has been so successful with every album that you've released and stuff, I imagine that your label must have given you carte blanche in a certain way. So where did you choose to do like composition phases? Did you go anywhere, France, or did you stay in UK?
We stayed at. I mean, like the songs, we shared demos between each other separately quite a lot at the beginning, and then the actual kind of playing through those songs together was very much in North London in Seven Sisters in a little room, and it was a bit back to basics, and I think the songs benefited for that. And then once we had kind of really got these things watertight and were really ready to take them to the studio, it was Greg Kirsten who made the record. And in terms of like a record label's faith, to be able to get put in a room with someone who's just a master of his craft, that was that's where that carte blanche thing maybe comes in a little bit. But the inception was very close to home and not that ostentatious. Not that going to France is ostentatious, but it's very nice.
No, sometimes to take you out of your daily routine.
Yeah, that can be really important sometimes. But it worked really well the way that we did it. Just being pressure was off a little bit as we were getting into something that is quite pressure laden.
Yeah, and what about instrument? Sorry, man.
No, I was just going to say, I think I read that you were inspired by watching Get Back as well.
Oh, the Peter Jackson,
the Beatles thing, yeah.
Yeah, I think like watching that and then being quite like, I don't know, obviously a lot of their songs are so recognisable and so ingrained, and I remember seeing them at primary school and stuff like that, like. And then watching him all of them kind of noodling about, and then going, pissing off to go and get some lunch, and then having little banters between each other, and then having a few arguments, and then doing a bit more of like tinkering away at this song that is going to be one of the best songs ever. And I was like, it's like it's very casual, and I was, the realizing there's no formula to like making these amazing songs. They're just like you just get in a room with your mates and you kind of tinker about on your instruments, and I was like, I can't wait to do that, like rather than like how am I going to do this next thing. It was more that the casualness of it rather than like what they were making that inspired me.
And speaking of tinkering with instruments, did you try and incorporate new sounds that you hadn't tried before on previous albums?
I feel I played double bass.
Yeah, I got given a double bass by Greg. That was, shout out Greg, because one of his amazing things is I was like, I can't play the double bass, and he goes, yeah, you can, and then just made me do it. And
then you could.
I kind of could, but no, I don't think necessarily we went like elaborately into a new direction with the instrumentation. But I think the piano is the linchpin of this record to an extent. It's one of the mainstays, and I think a lot of the demos the early demos featured the piano really heavily, and that's why I kind of really liked Bloom Baby Bloom coming out first and it opening with the piano, because I feel like that has a really strong current throughout the record for me. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, there's bits of every. Maybe there's probably some things that we've never played before.
Yeah,
double bass being one.
Well, I get the feeling that one of the things that, at least in my case, that I adore about your band and your albums is there's always that one ballad or love song on each record, like Don't Delete the Kisses, which you just could not fathom doing a show without playing. I imagine. I hope it's on today's set list. If not, we'll have words. Or me and all them. or of what's it called? Safe from Heartbreak from Blue Weekend. I feel that's like.
No,
that's nice to hear you mention that
song.
I'm
saying it's really nice. You don't hear about that song a lot.
Oh, it's like I'll just be randomly like washing dishes and stuff at my home, and that song will just pop into my head.
Really?
It's one of those recurring songs that keeps popping in my head, and I always feels like they always have. And I always tell bands, like whenever they're like, "Oh, you've interviewed loads of bands. What do we need to do to have success?" So write a good ballad, have a November Rain on your record, and then you'll see. Because if you get to the Mum's Hearts or the whatever, you'll get.
Or your heart.
Or my heart.
Yes.
You got to have a ballad. Punk band friends would scoff at me. It's like, we're a punk band. We don't make ballads. It's like, well, good luck.
There's some punk bands with good ballads, though.
There are. Yeah. So is there going to be one of those kind of songs to sort of weep to or, let your heart open to on this new record?
Yes, definitely there is. Yeah.
Because do you sort of feel that you have to have one? Like, if not, it won't be a Wolf Alice album.
I think like a lot of the time you just write some songs and then and we kind of, there's always one that you're kind of like, that doesn't need anything else, or like it's supposed to be like that, like just keep it simple and yeah. So yeah. But I feel like there's not loads of ballads, but there's a lot of like, yeah, there's a lot of love on the record. Yeah. I was again inspired by, when I was younger I was always scared to do love songs because I felt like maybe that's what was expected of me as a young girl, and now that I'm older I'm like, there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. Like, love is really interesting.
Love rocks.
And no one should be ashamed of writing multiple love songs. The Beatles wrote 1 million.
Yeah. And that's why that's why they're a bit popular.
Being obsessed with love.
There's endless ways to talk about it and describe it, and that's interesting.
And what about bangers? Because that's the other beauty about Wolf Alice, that you have this. You can go to some real like hardcore riffs, guitar riffs and stuff. Are there bangers galore?
Joff's got a pretty epic solo moment. That section is a banger to me, but I'm not going to give too much away.
Okay.
But yeah, there's some up moments. There's some fun in there as well, for sure. Yeah.
Will we be able to hear new songs tonight, apart from the single?
We don't want to give too much away before the record comes out, but yes, quite potentially.
Because is this your first gig since?
This girl just went,
is this your first gig?
No, we've been playing a couple of like really intimate shows across Europe. Yeah, we did Paris and Utrecht, and we did some in Ireland as well. So yeah, we've been like kind of remembering how to play our instruments and stuff. Yeah.
Are you playing Madrid as well? Like
yeah,
a secret
we're
show?
playing Madrid next week.
Next week. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And any tickets left, or is that all?
I am not 100% what's going on with that, but I think maybe not.
Thank God, you're the stars. You don't need to worry about those things.
I spent all my time worrying about
you'd be
those
surprised.
and guest lists and stuff for family and friends. No,
that you worry about for sure.
Picking up something that you just said, Ellie. How like where being a girl, you felt that you might be expected to do the love songs because of being a girl, but you did say in that statement, going back to the thing about embracing more of this the freedom of being a front woman without having to worry about your instrument and the cables and this, that, the other. I also feel from the video clip that you feel more comfortable with a I don't know if pop star persona is the word, but do you know what I'm getting at? That whereas before you were just you're 4 people in a band and you're 4 musicians, but now I feel that you're enjoying the center stage. Am I right in my perception?
Yeah, I think there's multiple things. Like I must be a little bit more confident than I was before, just because you would like to hope that happens over time. But yeah, like just trying to, I don't know, like enjoy myself, and it's quite exhausting, like spending a lot of time like worrying what people are going to think about you, and I'm trying really hard to not be like so much like that. So yeah, I'm just trying to enjoy myself a bit more.
Yeah. Good stuff. And what about you guys?
What are we up to at the moment?
Yeah, he's pushed us into the background.
No.
I feel resentful.
No, but any new toys that are going to be out on stage and equipment-wise and stuff? Let's get nerdy for a minute.
I feel like Joff's the master of equipment.
Oh, yeah.
Your hair?
Yeah, the hair. The power comes from the hair mainly.
Samson.
Oh yeah, there's always new bits of gear and stuff like that. But the new record, to be honest, is like pretty light in terms of that stuff. It was all about it's more about leaning into space, which I feel is braver, especially when you're kind of your first intuition is always to throw more at something, throw more at the recordings, throw more sounds and stuff like that, just to be measured and stuff. That's kind of takes a lot more panache, I think.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure having you back here. Well, back here. Sorry,
Here.
It's because I've been to do them many times on the old place. And but it's great to see you again.
Yeah.
I'm so happy that you're playing Primavera this year.
7:35.
7:35,
Thank
perfect
you.
slot. Everyone's fresh, early.
Yeah.
From
I
last
Hopefully
night.
love
not
this
hungover.
crowd.
I hope.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
see
you guys are
there,
all so nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the biggest audience we've had at this hour.
This is the biggest audience we've had at this hour. Thanks.
I'm very eager to hear The Clearing, which is out August 28th, if I'm not mistaken.
29th.
Might be the 29th.
29th. Sorry.
But get ready on the
okay.
28th.
Yeah. Have a great show. Will you be sticking around, or will you check out
Definitely.
anything on the
Yeah.
lineup
Yeah.
tonight?
Time, Sabrina Carpenter.
I wanna watch
and
High
anything else I can
Vis.
see.
The High Vis are on
Vis.
later tonight. And yeah, we're going to have a laugh tonight, I reckon. We're going to give it a good go.
Good go.
Yeah.
And then you're off tomorrow, sadly. But anyway, thank you for coming.
Thanks.
Wolf Alice.
Thanks, guys.
Always a
Thank
pleasure.
you. Bye again, everyone. Thank you.